Hello and welcome to another edition of the Are You Ready Wrestling podcast. Very strange, very different circumstances. We're recording this episode in compared to normal. I think the first one is that we're not in Newport recording a podcast for Newport City Radio, which I find very strange. We are currently in our hotel room just outside Wembley Stadium, a day out from AEW All In, which comes your way tomorrow night as we sit here and record this live on the Saturday afternoon. Obviously, we're looking forward to that. Joining me as ever on this podcast is Curtis.
Yes, hello.
Hello. Are you ready to go all in tomorrow night?
I am indeed. It was brilliant in Cardiff. The crowd was electric, especially when we had one certain person come out, which would be Will Ospreay. It was just a brilliant show from start to finish, especially with Collision as well. But yeah, after I was drained from the spectacular show that Tony Khan put on for Dynamite and Collision.
And with it going for 4 hours, because I know they sometimes do it in America, but Collision is normally recorded live on the Saturday and Dynamite's obviously live on the Wednesday. Yeah. Should they stick with that in the future, or? Because 4 hours of wrestling, I know we'll see 4 hours on the weekend, but it's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, but for two different shows, it was a wild one because there was obviously Chris Jericho was on both shows, so he made 2 or 3 appearances on those shows. It's a difficult one, but for 4 hours in a small crowd, like not small arena, say, but not a place like Wembley Stadium. It is long, and you know what's happening at a show like that. Whereas a pay-per-view, anything can happen, especially that's where they put the main matches on, with the surprise returns, surprise debuts. There's a lot of stuff that can happen at a pay-per-view, but it is a strange one, I will say that.
Yeah, and we're, as we say, a couple of hours away from, just about 24 hours away from All In getting underway here at Wembley Stadium, and the hype anticipation is real. We're walking around the streets of Wembley and we're seeing some of the biggest names in AEW.
Yeah, MJF walked past us, didn't he?
MJF earlier.
Outside the hotel.
Outside the athletes' hotel.
Yeah.
Or the competitors' hotel.
Outside their hotel. But yeah. But we're not talking about AEW today, are we, Luke?
No, there'll be some kind of review on our website, and obviously we'll be with Tony Khan
in the press conference
tomorrow, in the pre or post show press conference, press scrum. We were fortunate enough here on Are You Ready to get a question in on Thursday. It is pre-event media.
Was indeed. Fair play, Luke.
Conference.
Well done, Luke.
So, but yes, Are You Ready never stops. It never settles. Even the day before a major pay-per-view, one of the biggest UK pay-per-views we've ever had. So, Curtis, with that in mind, yes, this coming weekend is Bash in Berlin in Germany. 7 days' time, we will be in Germany. Or WWE will be in Germany. We won't be over there in Berlin. First ever pay-per-view to be held over there.
I was going to say, I wish I was in Berlin.
Obviously, you wish you'd go after this, of course.
Oh, obviously, this takes priority.
So, when we spoke about this card a couple of weeks ago, I thought there'd be quite a few European wrestlers. It doesn't seem that way at the moment.
No, there's not.
5 matches announced for 5 matches with a potential 6th. We'll come on to that after. I think only 2 of them, or 3, contain European wrestlers, that being Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and Albert Fire and Isla Dawn. At the moment, there's no matches for the likes of Ilya Dragunov, or Giovanni Vinci, or Ludwig Kaiser, people of that ilk. What do you make of that? A show being like Bash in Berlin, we know when they came over here, we seen Drew McIntyre in the main event. Sheamus had a spotlight match against Gunther. Quite a few of the British wrestlers were showcased, as was up in Scotland. And this weekend coming up now, Will Ospreay, we know, is in one of the featured matches of the card. So, yeah, what do you think about the lack of European WWE wrestlers in a WWE pay-per-view held in Germany?
It's not good, in my opinion, because you have wrestlers from each country, and that's their hometown, that's their home country, and you'd think if WWE were to come over to Scotland, say, which they have done, they'd have predominantly mainly Scottish wrestlers on the card. So Bash in Berlin, obviously it's in Germany, you think that they'd have German wrestlers on the card, and European wrestlers. This is not the case, which I think is a downfall. I get where it's hard for them because of the storylines, timings and stuff. They don't want to just be in the middle of a storyline and then all of a sudden stop the storyline and just have a European show full of wrestlers that are not in a full storyline at the moment. So I do get why there isn't and why there is, but it's not what some of the fans over there want to see. They want to see their talent from their country, from their culture, their thing. So it's a difficult one. It is a difficult one.
They're idols almost. The likes of, as I just mentioned, Ilya Dragunov. You've got Giovanni Vinci and you've got Ludwig Kaiser, formerly of Imperium. You've got even the likes of Pete Dunne and people like that. Yeah, it just seems to me, and I know what you're saying in terms of the storyline, but surely this was announced, Bash in Berlin was announced before the likes of Backlash was announced, before Clash was announced, so you'd think that with that in mind, coming up to this point in time now, that they'd have some kind of plan in mind because they've known about this pay-per-view for so long.
You would think that, and it's a difficult one because they really don't have many European wrestlers on this card. They only have 2 or 3.
And most of them are Scottish.
Yeah, so that's helpful for German fans. But the card's good, but just not for not for a European show anyway.
On our card, as always, on Are You Ready is provided by very good friends at Wikipedia. First match up is Gunther against the 14-time world champion Randy Orton, Curtis.
Yes, it is.
We've seen this take place originally out in Saudi Arabia in the final of the King of the Ring tournament. There was a really controversial ending first time round.
Yeah, there was.
Obviously, we said on this podcast, going back to Ilya Dragunov, that we thought it could potentially be Gunther versus Dragunov in this PLE, but it's ended up being Randy Orton, which makes sense in storyline with, if it wasn't for that dodgy roll-up, then Gunther wouldn't be where he is today in terms of WWE champion. So, first match was good.
Yeah, it was.
Let's get that straight. First match out in Saudi Arabia was good. Can they live up to that first match, or with it being in Europe, we've seen going back to the crowds in France with Backlash, and then this Wednesday in Cardiff for Dynamite and Collision. I'm sure tomorrow now at All In, and just some of the British shows, we've got Rev Pro tonight in the UK at the Copper Box, and
I'm pretty sure Attack Pro Wrestling had a show last night as well.
I think it was today. I think there's loads of shows going on.
Yeah, they've got
London
quite a
today.
few. I did see Leon Cage was on one last night. But yeah, they've got quite a few. To be fair. But it is what you expect. These promotions take advantage when there's big pay-per-views on. They take advantage and do their own shows, which is fair enough. And as Luke falls asleep on the podcast, recording from a hotel is a wild one.
Well, the things you do for this podcast.
I know. Anyway.
It has to be done, though. It has to be done.
Match number 1 on the card, as you've said, is Gunther versus Randy Orton.
If Orton wins the title, he'll be transferred to Raw.
And if Gunther wins, he'll be transferred to SmackDown.
No. If Gunther wins, if Orton wins, he'll go to Raw, and Gunther will be transferred to SmackDown as a trade.
If Orton wins the championship, he will be transferred to Raw.
So at the moment, Curtis, Orton is the champion. Gunther was the champion on Monday Night Raw, and Orton was drafted to SmackDown in the most recent WWE draft.
Yeah.
So if
Gunther wins, he stays on Raw. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if Gunther wins, he stays on Raw. If Orton wins, he goes
to Raw, and
to
Gunther
Raw.
will go to SmackDown. It's his first defence. It's in his near enough his home country, he's from Austria. There's no way that Randy Orton wins. Surely.
We didn't think Drew McIntyre would lose in his own country, in his near enough his hometown, and he still did.
Yeah, but this is for the world title, and this is Gunther's first defence.
I don't know. I'd like to see Randy have one more reign before.
I think he'll definitely have one more. When that will be, though, I don't know.
Do you think he could take the title off Cody then?
Yes.
You think it'll be Cody who takes the title?
I think he can have a great match with Cody. As we've mentioned quite a few times on this podcast, the story is there. There was plenty of storyline around the whole kind of legacy when Cody first started out in WWE. Obviously, moving on to AEW, which we're here for this weekend. So, I do see... I don't necessarily see him taking it, but I think there's a more of a chance that he takes it from Cody than he does against Gunther.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
I agree too. That match between Cody and Randy, if it does ever happen, will be good. But main focus is Gunther versus Randy Orton. There is a chance. There is a very small, minor chance that Randy could win, but I think Gunther will leave Bash in Berlin as your still World Heavyweight Champion of the world.
There's a tiny, tiny chance that he could win.
There is a tiny, tiny chance that Randy could win.
But no, I think that Gunther to win is just shoo-in. Match 1, he went on that card. Gunther, Randy. We both have Gunther?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Both very strongly for Gunther. Like you said, he's just got his reign at SummerSlam. He started his reign at SummerSlam, beating Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight title, and I don't see him losing it anytime soon. So, yeah. Gunther to leave Bash in Berlin as the World Heavyweight Champion.
Gunther to do that indeed. And do we see it being a clean victory, or could there be more shenanigans lead to a third match down the road?
Possibly.
Possibly. It's a possibly there, ladies and gentlemen.
Because I know at some point we are going to get Cody versus Randy. So could this just be a cover-up story to keep that going until, like, another show, and then we have Cody versus Randy there?
I think what's been good is for the past, pretty much ever since WrestleMania, Randy and his tag team partner Kevin Owens have been involved with the Bloodline.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we see the Bloodline going off in their own direction with Roman coming back and Jimmy Uso we expect to return soon. I'm surprised he hasn't come back already, but he'll be back soon.
I thought he was going to come back too.
So, it makes sense for, rather than rush into a storyline now between Cody and Randy, resulting in a match, say, at Bash in Berlin or at like a Survivor Series.
Yeah.
That definitely, Cody Randy is definitely a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
In my opinion, maybe even Royal Rumble. If they want to say do Cody against The Rock at WrestleMania or whatever they want to do. But for the meantime, we both have Gunther winning. And speaking of Kevin Owens, last night on SmackDown, it looked like he was about to turn heel.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the seeds being planted for an official heel turn by him?
Yeah. The way he picked up that title on SmackDown, it was like I generally thought it was going to happen. Obviously, I didn't watch it SmackDown live last night. I watched the clips this morning as we were coming up to London. Long journey as ever. But I seen some clips and I generally thought Kevin Owens was going to turn on Cody at that moment. I really did. Especially with the video package of Kevin turning on people and stuff.
Interestingly, they included Chris Jericho in that.
They did indeed, which is interesting. Especially with AEW being here in the UK over the past couple of days and how big AEW is right now. With viewership at the moment and stuff, obviously because of the amount of shows that they're doing.
Viewership is down.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
You just love to ruin it, don't you?
Well, no, statistically, viewership is down.
Well, yeah, but like, I'm more on about publicity. There we go.
That's the word you're looking for.
Yeah, publicity.
Yeah, there's pretty good publicity about obviously AEW Texas is announced, and the groundbreaking announcement on Thursday by Tony Khan that we know that All Elite Wrestling will return in 2026 and they'll be here in London.
There was a little bit of a leak yesterday. AEW Forbidden Door.
Yes, AEW ex New Japan Pro Wrestling, their yearly joint pay-per-view Forbidden Door. Past few years, I think it's been in Canada. I think it launched in 2021 in Chicago. Last year was in Canada. I think this year was in Long Island.
Next year, though.
Next year, 2025, it's been leaked on a billboard outside Wembley Park Tube. It's actually going to be
here,
at Wembley Stadium.
Here in London, it's going to be... I don't think it'll be at Wembley Stadium because it's not a stadium show, but...
Well, outside Wembley, anyway.
It could be at the O2, it could be at the Wembley Park Arena place down the road.
Wembley Arena,
that's the place. Could be there, could be anywhere in London.
Indeed it could.
But, yeah.
Yeah. Cody retain?
Yeah.
Because at this time of the year, we start to see the stories built up heading towards Survivor Series. Obviously, we've got Bad Blood. So at the moment, Bad Blood is full of matches involved in the hottest angles. It's looking like we're going to see CM Punk, Drew McIntyre 3. Maybe Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Rhea Ripley against Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Cody doesn't necessarily have bad blood with anyone, does he?
No, he doesn't. Even though he was featured on the announcement for Bad Blood. But he doesn't have any bad blood with anyone.
He doesn't have bad blood with anyone at the moment that we know of. We just mentioned CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. They're going to go at it for the second time this weekend. Do you think Bad Blood will see the second installment of Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens?
Possibly. If there is a heel turn, and depending on how they do that heel turn, possibly. Because if Kevin absolutely beats down Cody, could we see that and they have a controversial ending to their match or something? So then it goes on to the next show. Who knows? There's many things that could happen in that match, but that match is going to be good, and I hope Cody will be at Bad Blood.
I'm sure he will be their champion and all that.
Yeah.
But that's that.
Match number 3.
Do you want to move straight on to match number 3?
Well, we've finished the Cody thing, haven't we?
I suppose so, yeah. He's being heavily advertised for Bad Blood, isn't he? He's on the promotional video. You'd think he'd be there being their main champion.
Yeah.
Involved in one of the biggest storylines in the history of pro wrestling with Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think Kevin Walton heel, A-Town Down Under, as part of the Grace Waller effect last night, showed a load of exhibits of KO Tin heel, as Curtis mentioned earlier, so I think it is being set up for KO heel turn. But as you say, match number 3, including the heel turn, match number 3 on the card is the Terror Twins of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus the Judgment Day. A very new look Judgment Day consisting of Dirty Dominik Mysterio and Liv Morgan in a mixed tag team match, which is something that we perfectly predicted on a couple of podcasts ago at this point.
We did indeed. When the SummerSlam review, I believe it was, when we first predicted it. But
yes,
what a storyline this has been so far. Like, we're only in the... I don't want to say we're only in the depths of the start of the storyline, but we're not. Like, it has been going on for some time, ever since Rhea Ripley got injured by Liv Morgan, but what a story. It has been a brilliant storyline. What a storyline it has been. And this won't be the only match between the Judgment Day and the Terror Twins. There's going to be so much more. I could see it possibly a War Games match between these two.
Yeah.
Well, these, however many there are, there's so
these
many
two
of them.
teams.
These two teams. But, yeah. What's your thoughts on this match? And who do you see winning?
I see the heels winning, in my opinion. I don't think they'll give the win to Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley yet. I think, as I mentioned, we'll see this continue for a good while longer. There's so much scope that they can go in with this.
Yeah.
Around the Judgment Day, Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley, I think, will get a really, really good reception. But I see the rest of the Judgment Day interfering, whether that's Finn Balor to cost Damian Priest, obviously Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley has been going on, it's been simmering away anyway since WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So, and obviously the added factor of the heat magnet that is Dominik Mysterio.
Yeah.
I just see this being a close match. I think Terror Twins will be on top for most, if not all of it, but right at the end when it matters most, I think that maybe Finn Balor or whoever will hit Damian Priest or Rhea Ripley with Liv Morgan's title bout, or maybe even Liv Morgan herself, which will then result in the 1, 2, 3 and the heels picking up the win. As I say, I see this going on to them. Bad blood between Liv and Rhea, and also maybe Dominik against Damian or Damian against Finn Balor. I think it makes more sense with Damian Priest against Finn Balor because, yes, Dominik turned on Priest in the sense of Priest was in the Judgment Day. However, Finn Balor and Damian Priest were kind of like two of the... I don't use the word leaders because they didn't want to use the word leaders. They were kind of the leading people in the faction, let's just put it that way. So
Yeah.
if Priest is to have a match of Bad Bloods, I don't want to fill the Bad Blood card up with hundreds of matches because there's hundreds of storylines going on in WWE right now, really top quality storylines as well.
Yeah.
But if Priest is to have a match of Bad Blood, I see that being against Finn Balor rather than Dominik Mysterio.
Yeah.
So could this lead to a War Games match, as you say? Maybe. At the moment it looks like it's 5-on-2 with obviously 4 men and 1 woman for the Judgment Day, and we've never seen not that I can think of anyway, an intergender War Games match. That would be a new one on me. But I think the question is, who do you get on the Terror Twins' side?
That's a difficult one.
Because we see the Judgment Day at the moment with the 5, Dominik Mysterio, Liv Morgan, Finn Balor, JD McDonough and Carlito, and R-Truth. R-Truth is still a part of the Judgment Day.
Somehow, in some way, he's still a part of the Judgment Day, which is brilliant.
Against the 2 of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. So I don't necessarily see who could join.
It's a difficult one. I don't see who could join them either, who they could have an alliance with. Who they previously had an alliance with. It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Someone like Sami Zayn, maybe?
Possibly Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn's always seems to get himself involved with big babyface storylines under Triple H.
He does indeed.
What do you think about all this, Curtis? Who do you see winning?
I see...
Putting your question to you, do you think there'll be a War Games match?
I think the heels will win. Like you've said, I don't think they're going to give it to the Terror Twins just yet. Maybe in a future match further down the line. But I see the Judgment Day leaving and winning this match. And do I think it will set up a War Games match? Yes, I do definitely think it will. Who will be on the Terror Twins side to even the odds? I do not know. Depends how they build this storyline and what's next at what next show and bits and bobs like that. But I do see a War Games match somewhere further down the line.
At War Games itself?
Yes.
And who do you see being on the side of the Terror Twins?
I think Sami Zayn
Or the
could get
Terror
involved.
Group?
I think Sami...
Sorry to interrupt there. There seems to be a particular mould to them. They've got to be quite tall and menacing, but obviously baby faces.
Yeah. It's Braun Strowman, maybe?
Yeah, he's had history with the Judgment Day before. Carlito.
Yeah, who else have we got? I don't know who else. I can't. We're just fantasy booking here.
Rey Mysterio. Yeah, we are fantasy.
Rey Mysterio.
I don't know. Going up against his son Dominic.
Hey, that's a good show. Possibly, yeah. But yeah.
Laugh me off at your will, Curtis. Laugh me off at your peril.
Oh, I will. Don't you worry. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know who could be on the other side. It's a difficult one. But I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll let the viewers decide. Let us know on social media who you think will join the Terror Twins side. If you think
If it
they
is
will,
to be a War Games.
if you think there will be a War Games match, let us know. Because the more interactions we get, will make this fantasy booking even more stickier.
Even more tougher. Anyway, so that's that.
Match number 4, I know Luke is going to be thrilled about this match. He's putting his laptop down, he's putting it on the desk, he's sitting up, he's getting ready for this one.
With as we seen a couple of weeks ago at SummerSlam, the first match for CM Punk back in the WWE's first singles match anyway, 10.5 years. Obviously, he was out for a good while since the start of the year with a tricep injury, similar to the one he had last year before the start of Collision, moving into All In, and obviously we know what happened last year with Punk here at Wembley Stadium. It's obvious it's a strap match. It's going to suit CM Punk down to the ground. We've seen him have one of the best dog collar matches ever at Revolution a couple of years ago against man we've seen earlier, actually, MJF. So Punk's going to win. It's obvious. They're heading towards, I think the rumours are from WRKD Wrestling on Twitter that we're going to see CM Punk, Drew McIntyre 3 at Bad Blood in a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah.
Which would be the first Hell in a Cell match we've had this year.
Which would be a fantastic match.
And I think a Hell in a Cell match really suits
them too.
Pay-per-view called Bad Blood.
It suits them as well, just the two names and the storyline that's been built. It just suits them down to a T, and it will go really, really, really well. But I see CM Punk leaving the win. How he'll do it, I don't know, but possibly he straps Drew McIntyre's arms down or something. He finds a way of doing something. Kind of like what they did with Roman Reigns. They handcuffed him to the steel post and then threw dog food all over him. But yeah.
So that's that. Drew McIntyre wins and makes the series 2-0, especially with the rumours coming out that we're going to see Bad Bloods. It's going to be Punk against McIntyre in Hell in a Cell. That makes no sense in my eyes. So, yeah, Punk's going to have to pick up the win here.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a clean victory. We know Seth is out for a while with an undisclosed injury. Obviously, he was the special guest referee at SummerSlam, was involved in the finish. He's not going to be there this time to interfere in the finish, whatever the finish might look like this time. So, CM Punk win all the way for me, Curtis.
Same with me, CM Punk all the way.
And then he'll go and win out in Atlanta, Georgia, and
bury it to dead.
Break Drew McIntyre apart, or tear him apart.
Match number 5, which got announced on SmackDown.
Yeah, I think it was on SmackDown last night,
It was on
SmackDown announcement, whatever it was. This is the last match.
It was an announcement on SmackDown Day at some point.
On SmackDown Day, yes.
Yes, it was.
Indeed it was. A rematch from Clash at the Castle. We're going to see the Unholy Union, the current WWE Women's Tag Team Champions of Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, take on Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill.
We are indeed.
This has been going on since I started yawning. It's been going on since, obviously, Clash. We thought they were just a part of those. Was it a triple threat match, the women's tag at Clash?
Yeah, it was, I think.
We thought they were going to be there just to make the numbers up, and obviously being in their hometown. However, they won.
That shocked us all. We were live on air on Newport City Radio, back in the studio.
Our old studio at the Corn Exchange.
Yeah, our old studio at the Corn Exchange. We've now moved. Better venue, better place, better everything, really. But yeah, I was shocked. To some of the listeners that did listen to that live 4-hour epic reaction, you would have known that all of us were quite shocked. Me and myself. Luke was shocked, and someone who doesn't really make an appearance often, Adam, was also shocked.
Where's he this weekend? He shows up for the big events, doesn't he? Especially with it being in...
I think I've got an idea.
Are you going to phone him on the Are You Ready podcast?
I'm going to phone him now. We are going to phone Adam. Let's see if he answers.
You're live on the Are You Ready podcast.
I want to get his I want to see what he's going to say to...
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
I've got a couple of questions for you.
Go on.
We're currently in the hotel recording a Bash in Berlin preview for the podcast, and because you haven't been on the podcast for a while, I'm going to ask you, we've got the card up here, we don't have to go into it to detail enough, but Gunther versus Randy Orton, who have you got winning and why?
What's that? Hang on, let me put you on. Right, hang on. Right, what did you say?
Who have you got between Gunther and Randy Orton?
Randy Orton.
Why?
Because I feel he's going to retire in the next year.
Yeah.
Maybe 2. And I think this is going to be the start of, and he deserves one last championship to become greater than Ric Flair and John Cena.
Woo!
Okay, match number 2, Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. Who have you got and why?
Cody, because it leads up to WrestleMania, and there is no feud, there is no reason for Kevin Owens to even be in this match, let alone win the title, because he's been like a supporting role over the past 12-18 months.
Yeah. It's true. Match number 3, the Terror Twins of Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley versus the Judgment Day. That being Dirty Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan in a mixed tag team match. Who have you got and why?
Damien and Rhea, because I think we're going to see the return of Jimmy or Jay.
And you think they're going to get involved in that match?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Match number 4 is a strap match versus CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Who have you got and why?
Is that a full-blown no DQ match?
It's just a strap match. So what's the rules on a strap match, Luke?
I think it is no DQ.
No DQ.
Yeah. I think we're going to see Seth Rollins come out.
Again?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, this is interesting.
And I think Drew is going to win.
I think Drew's going to win, even though they're alluding to a Hell in a Cell match for Bad Blood versus them two.
Yeah.
Okay. Match number 5, the Unholy Union, that being Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill in a rematch from Clash at the Castle for the tag team women's titles. Who have you got and why?
Alba Fury.
Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
Yeah, I can see Jade and
Bianca splitting.
their feud is going to flare up, ready to lead up to Royal Rumble and then on to WrestleMania.
Well, thanks for your time, Adam. And
We seen MJF earlier.
yeah, he walked past us. MJF walked past us outside the hotel. We were stumbling. We were walking to our hotel and we went past where all the wrestlers are staying because we've seen a group of AEW fans. And as we got there, MJF walked out and
Tony Storm.
Tony Storm was going into the hotel as well.
Oh.
But MJF
And Taz as well, Leon.
Oh yeah, Taz as well.
Oh, shut up.
Luke had a photo with Taz. So that was Adam's reactions.
It was something I found really interesting. Then was the fact that he said that he thinks that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair will split and one will turn heel. I think it could be Jade Cargill turn heel. She was in heel when she was here in AEW.
I think so too.
We haven't seen a Bianca Belair heel
No, we haven't.
in WWE. It'd be interesting to see what that would be like. She's always been like that Cody Rhodes figure, but obviously on the women's side of things.
Yeah.
And if Adam is correct in thinking that there's going to be a heel turn, who would you see turning heel?
Jade Cargill.
Yeah.
She's got the more experience of being a heel. Yeah, she hasn't had a lot of experience in WWE, but them two wrestlers, that's such a money match. And I think them two will put on a classic match. But I think, yeah, Jade Cargill will turn heel on Bianca. It makes sense because Jade Cargill has more experience in being a heel, whereas Bianca doesn't. So it would be better if they just kept Bianca as a face, a baby face, and Jade Cargill as a heel, because Jade Cargill as a heel would be epic.
It would be quite cool
in WWE as well,
to see.
To see anyway, and the storytelling and different bits like that. But yeah.
Yeah, so that completes us for the cards. And do you think, just quickly, do you think that the heel turn will happen during or after the match?
I think there'll be sparks during. Maybe a bit of miscommunication or something.
Yeah, I
and then
say that.
And then at the end, when they're celebrating, as they turn round and look at each other, a clothesline from Jade Cargill, something along those lines. That's my fantasy booking.
Or she picks her up and...
That's her finisher.
Yeah, or something along those lines. Something along those lines. Anyway, that's been our Bash in Berlin preview, a very different one as we're recording this from our hotel room at Wembley Stadium, or just outside Wembley Stadium. We are both very, very tired, been on the move all day, but we're here ready to go all in tomorrow. Keep an eye out on the Are You Ready social media pages for
loads of content,
and even more content. Keep an eye out for this podcast, which will be up in the next couple of days. And yeah, if you're listening to this on the back of hearing us or hearing myself ask a question or so at the All In Media Scrum, hello, welcome to Are You Ready? Thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. That must mean I've done something well at the Media Scrub if you're listening.
Yeah, if it, hopefully
on the back of that.
Hopefully something will spark and we'll get some brand new listeners in. Hopefully. But we're just here to cover the show and enjoy the show and not only report the show to you guys, but to have something you can listen to each week. But yeah, the podcasts are going to be more frequent than ever over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, it's been a good preview for Bash in Berlin, I'd say. And hopefully we get some more European wrestlers on the card.
Hopefully we will indeed. I don't see many more matches, but there's plenty. A potential Ricky Starks debut. Adam thinks that there'll be a heel turn. We've had Adam on the podcast.
We have had Adam on the podcast. We've somehow done it. It's funny how when we're in Newport he doesn't turn up, but then when we're in London and we're not even in the country, he decides to turn up and answers the phone.
He answers the phone and he's talked us through what he thinks is going to happen. We've both sat here
for the past hour
or so saying what we think's going to happen. Hope you've enjoyed listening for the past hour to another very, very special edition, as it always is, of the Are You Ready Wrestling podcast.